What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Odin coming with the box office breakdown video from Dallas. I apologize if the audio is not as good as it normally is, but I am currently going live from my Airbnb in Dallas, about to head out back to the con for the last day, heading back home tomorrow. But we got a box office breakdown for everybody out there, which saw Lightyear lose to Jurassic World Dominion. So Dominion is in its second week of release, dropped 60% and lost to, won and beat Lightyear in its opening weekend. So this is really bad news for Disney. $51 million versus Jurassic World Dominion's 58.6. This means that people are not going out to see this film, and it means that those coveted tickets that are normally bought by families are not really going to Lightyear. And in fact, I think there's an argument to be made that more families went to go see Jurassic World Dominion this weekend versus Lightyear. And the Access media has no idea what in the world is going on and why this is going on. Now, any of us who have actually been paying attention to the world, have been paying attention to Disney, paying attention to Hollywood, we can come up with some pretty good ideas about why this film is not doing nearly as well as they thought it was going to be. But the Access media, of course, cannot quite get that understanding themselves. So let's go ahead and look at these numbers real quick. So Jurassic World Dominion did indeed come in first place with $58.6 million, dropping 60% domestically from its first weekend, which is actually not as bad as one might expect it to have been. This is definitely a stronger hold than I know I was expecting. I was expecting this to actually be in the mid-60s at least, maybe even into the 70s, because the film really isn't all that good. However, this film is holding quite strong and is already worldwide past $500 million. So the chance of this film making $1 billion is actually quite likely. We also have some updates on Top Gun Maverick, but as you can see from the second place number here, that is indeed Walt Disney's Lightyear, Disney Pixar's Lightyear, $51 million. Another thing to note about this film is that this is the first Disney Pixar film to be released in theaters since the very beginning of the pandemic, when they had Onward in theaters at the very beginning, and that film ended up losing around $200 million or so, maybe a little under $200 million of a loss for that movie. This movie right now is in a very bad state because it had a weak opening domestically. It did not open strong internationally either. So this film is under $100 million after its opening weekend. And when you're talking about films like Jurassic World Dominion or Top Gun and Maverick or even Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, those are all films that easily were able to pass up that number. So we'll do a fuller box office breakdown over on my channel, OMB Reviews, when I have the time to actually get the charts updated and do some comparisons between this and other films in the Toy Story franchise, other animated films that have come out this year. But let's just say this is not a good look for Disney, and let's just say that this now raises some questions about the future of their animated features and also the future of their other features that come out this summer as well. But Maverick, another $44 million. Look at that, a 15% hold. 4 weeks out, it's actually losing theaters now, but it still held 15%. This movie is insane. It is going to cross $500 million by the end of this week, probably after only a few days of this week, to be perfectly honest. So this film is tracking very well. It's crossed $800+ million worldwide. So this film is definitely marching towards a now more likely billion-dollar endpoint, and that is very, very good news for Paramount. And once again, shout out to Tom Cruise for making a great film in Top Gun Maverick. Well worth the wait. Lots of people are going to see it multiple times, and I think it is well worth going to see on the big screen. And with Lightyear now taking over the IMAX and premium formats because it's not doing very well, it would be very interesting to see if maybe next week or maybe sometime this week you might see Maverick sneak into some IMAX screens. That'd be pretty awesome. Now, the only reason why that probably won't happen, or there's not a very high chance, is because Disney is very, very strict with any theater that shows any of their films. They always say, you have to show this, 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 and this, or you don't get our movie. So that's the only thing I can think about of reasons why they wouldn't be able to do that. However, honestly, they should, because it looks like Maverick would actually do a little bit better, because after 4 weeks, this movie only beat it. Lightyear, a brand new film, a Pixar film, a Disney Pixar film, only beat Maverick by about, what, $7 million? 4 weeks versus opening weekend? That is abysmal. Look at that per theater number, too, right? So Lightyear's at over 4,200 screens. It made about $11.9 thousand, or 11,900. People don't know it's only 11.9, but anyway. But Top Gun Maverick's per theater is $10,900. So you're looking at films that are very comparable, and let's just be honest here. If you put them in an IMAX screen, I don't know about you, I'd much rather see Top Gun Maverick a second time in IMAX than Lightyear even a first time. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness did come in at the number 4 spot, making another $4.2 million, so still holding quite strong domestically, just crossed the $40 million mark. But again, look at that difference between Top Gun Maverick and Doctor Strange. You'll see Top Gun Maverick, after 4 weeks, is at $466 million, whereas Doctor Strange is just getting over $400 million. So the chance of Doctor Strange getting $1 billion is a lot less likely now since it's slowed down. Last weekend, it made another $20 million. This weekend, it made another $12 million all around domestically and internationally. So it's definitely slowing down. However, could it get squeezed out? Could Disney, squeeze it for all it's worth to try and get it to just cross the $1 billion mark? Technically, they could. Will they? We'll have to wait and see, of course. But let's just say I think Maverick and Dominion have a better chance of getting there first before that movie does. Coming in at the number 5 spot, rounding off the top 5, is the Bob's Burgers movie with $1.1 million. Losing a lot of screens now. Not really a big moneymaker. However, we don't have a box office, or we don't have a budget yet for this film to really say one way or the other. Looking at some worldwide numbers, as you can see, Jurassic World Dominion, $622 million, so well past $500 million after its second weekend number, doing quite well domestically, better than expected, and continuing to do strong internationally. That also means that it's continuing to give money to the Communist Party in China, which is currently its biggest moneymaker with $92.8 million. So remember, 75% of that goes to the CCP. So not only is it a terrible movie, it's also helping to fund communism. Whereas Lightyear, not making money really anywhere. $51 million domestically, only $34.6 million internationally, at least according to the numbers as they stand now. There could be some updates, but this is seemingly the opening for this movie. Not very good at all. And let's just say, couldn't happen to a nicer company. All the while, Top Gun and Maverick is crossed $818 million at the worldwide box office. So very, very strong numbers for Maverick. Very excited to see this film doing as well as it is. And as you can see, $1 billion definitely in the cards on the table for this movie. However, it of course is going to have more competition as more films are set to come out over the coming weeks. But it is continuing to hold even amidst various competition, including from now Lightyear. And then Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness is at $942 million, and as I mentioned, it had another $12 million this weekend, so it actually is likely to pass the $950 million that some of the so-called industry experts were saying the film was going to cap out at, which is the reason why $1 billion is still technically on the table, though it seems more likely for it to cap out somewhere between $960 and $970, but Disney is notorious for re-releasing their movies and trying to offer various things to push the films past a certain point, all for those visuals. The fun thing is that Jurassic World Dominion, or sorry, in this case, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, you have a chance of doing that, whereas Lightyear, with this kind of a start, I do not see how you could possibly make that money back up, especially when you have this film costing $200+ million at the box office. If we have, go ahead and look at these numbers here. The budget was $200 million, meaning its break-even point is $500 million. The fact that it's open to 85.6 million worldwide put its current loss at $248.6 million. So this film could end up being a $100 million flop if the numbers do not improve, because it's a law of diminishing returns from this point going forward. So unless this movie makes a lot more than what it's currently listed as, or unless there's a major turnaround, not looking good for Disney at all. All the while, Jurassic World Dominion is now at over $100 million of net profit. Top Gun Maverick at over $236 million in net profit. Both of those films looking quite well. But those are the numbers as they stand. What are y'all's thoughts about any of these numbers? Are you surprised to see Lightyear doing as poorly as it is? I know that Josiah Rises has done some conversations about the film not being very good at all. There's obviously been the talk as well about certain characters and certain scenes being cut, being not cut, being re-put in, which is the reason why some of the Middle Eastern countries are not showing the movie. And so it's been interesting to hear those dynamics. But I think one big part of this puzzle that for some reason the mainstream media don't quite understand is that replacement by Tim Allen for Chris Evans. And it's not just because people are used to the Tim Allen voice, because he is Buzz Lightyear. He is the one that created that character. He is the one that should be voicing that character. But it's also when you look at Tim Allen, who is much more of a conservative-minded person, and then you look at Chris Evans, who is about as left as you could possibly be, you can also look at it as a potential resistance from audiences saying, you know what, I don't want to support this movie because there's an agenda in the film, and also because you replace Tim Allen with a leftist. Again, seems to be a likely scenario, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, slap that fire button, Aussie. Y'all all amazing and beautiful people. Will have a fuller box office breakdown going into other charts and comparisons over on the OMB Reviews channel, probably sometime in the next day or two. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you all at the con today in Dallas if you happen to be there. And as always, God bless.